Hello, hello.
Hey, what's happening?
I feel like we talked not too long ago.
I think we did on Shane McLean's show just before
Yes,
this. That was a
yes.
great
So,
show.
oh, it was. I enjoyed myself. So, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another installment here on Wicked Wednesdays of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast. So, tonight we have a great guest. But before that, Gwen, how is everything going? I know you weren't feeling too well for Shane's show. I know you said you wanted to take some electrolytes and stuff and kind of get the feeling a little bit better.
Get me Gator Light, about 2 shot glasses, I guess. It helped. You know what? This shoulder surgery, it's not for the weak. It's not
Yeah,
for the
look,
weak. It's
two
not.
shots, 2 shots of tequila can make anyone feel better. So I get it. I
That,
understand what you're throwing down. I'm picking it up. Okay.
there you go. That would be an interesting show. Yeah.
We were just talking about in the pre-show, honestly, but no. So yeah, Shane's show was amazing. If you guys
Yes.
missed it, please after you watch Jeremy Cotter's show tonight, because you got to tune in for that. Which I'll shout that out at the end of the show. Don't you worry. But he's got an amazing guest coming on. But yeah, me and Shane had a very interesting conversation about black-eyed children.
Yes.
And I don't know what black-eyed children exactly are as far as what you would consider them as far as paranormal entities. But so many different theories were thrown out, and the way that we kind of looked at it and dissected it, I mean, it's a wild conversation. If you missed it, you missed out.
Yeah. Go back and watch it after Jeremy's show tonight because it was really good. I do have one question. And
No,
I might have missed this because I was like
no,
getting
you
something
cannot
to drink.
ask any questions.
Oh, please. Have you ever seen a black-eyed child yourself?
Myself, I have not.
Okay.
And if I had, I would know better than to pick them up and bring them home or take them in my car.
No.
Because that's a no-no. But no, I have never seen one. There are rumors of some that exist here in New Hampshire going down the Henniker Highway, like I said, just off exit 13 or exit 12, whichever exit it is. But there's been rumors for the last 8 years that there's been multiple sightings of a group of 4 children walking down the side of this desolate road where there's no cell service, no street lights. And people would stop to ask them if they need a ride, but when they turned to look, their eyes would be completely black.
Nope. There's a joke that Rez can tell you if he likes about a road trip we took and some black-eyed kid thing. And it's funny. So anyway, without further ado, would you like me to bring our guest on?
Before you do that, I will tell you that I like black-eyed children about as much as I like black-eyed peas, which means I don't.
Which means you don't.
But tonight, guys, we have an amazing conversation. We have paranormal investigator. I know he likes to look into cryptids as well, and his Native American heritage as a completely unique and different aspect to paranormal investigating. I am super excited about this because I was supposed to have him on 2 weeks ago. Weather got in the way. We were able to reschedule. So please welcome on my guest, Bobby Resnick-Collins.
Hey, how we doing? Hey,
Rez, man.
that Black Eyed Peas, Fergie was okay. The rest of them sucked, but that's besides the point. So,
I want to talk about the band.
oh, okay. Just clarify that thing. So,
Oh, yeah.
you
Morgan
guys-
does. She hates that exit. And I didn't realize it until I was on the show with Shane Morgan. Hang on 1 second, Rez. Sorry. That's typically the exit I tell you to take. I promise you it's not an intentional experiment.
It might
BS.
be. It might be. I'm saying.
No. If I was running an intentional experiment, I would tell her. I recently, about 4 years ago, acquired a vial of soil from Vlad Tepes Castle over in Romania. And the lady who said that she owned it was saying that she was having horrific nightmares and seeing all these different things, but she knew the history of the object, so that could have been psychosomatic. So what I did was I had my daughter come up for the summer, and I made sure that vial of soil was in her bedroom without telling her to see if she had the same effect. So I used her as a human guinea pig.
Yeah, as you should.
But she had nothing. No experiences whatsoever. So that makes me think I own a cool piece of history now, and it's psychosomatic.
Very well.
But Rez, let me ask you, brother, how are you doing tonight, man?
Doing pretty damn good. Slept all day, just so I had enough energy to be here tonight.
Hey, I love it, man. And thank you so much for being able to reschedule on such short notice, because I was really looking forward to our show 2 weeks ago. You can't control the weather.
No, I don't have control of that. The old splitting storms and stuff like that from the old theories and the old ways. Not so good at it. It doesn't always work. So
Right, and that's fair. So I typically start off with a normal question that I feel like anyone who joins a paranormal podcast, they get asked. Um,
Right.
what got you started in the paranormal? Was it a general interest from a young age, or did you have an experience that kind of made you think, hey, I want to kind of look more into this?
Well, it's kind of a multi-layer answer with that one. With growing up in the spiritualist church and knowing about the other side and spirits, it was second nature. And then it was as I got older, I started watching all these shows, and I'd be calling BS on a lot of them. Like
As you should.
that's like crap. That's bullshit. So basically, after friends of mine keep hearing years after years, I was watching shows together. They go, well, if you can do it, then go freaking do it already.
Thank you, Gwen. I was
So,
just about to say, can you put up the disclaimer? Because I doubt me and
please,
Chris are going to watch our language. So,
I'm trying. There's some you
hey,
got
you know
good
what? The
days and bad
disclaimer's
days.
up there now, brother. You're good.
All right.
You're good.
But yeah, definitely. It was just over the years knowing that it was there, and then the kids getting old enough, and friends of mine going, you know what? If you think you can do better than them, prove it. Go out and do it. And that's when I stepped out publicly into the paranormal. Prior to that, if someone had any problems at their house or needed their house smudged or cleansed, I got the phone call and I'd go and do what I had to do to, help protect them.
Right. So leading on that, when people call you, right,
Yep.
I have a firm belief in a system that I use, and I feel like this could be a controversial thing to discuss, but we're going to discuss it anyway.
Right.
How do you feel about people who charge fees for going in and doing such things?
I don't particularly care for people that charge fees. I go out and do it for just to help.
Same.
If they want afterwards, if they want to toss me a few bucks for the heck of it, just for gas, after I tell them you don't have to, and they're persistent, well, then you take the few bucks for gas, and it makes them feel better. But up front, there is no fees whatsoever for me to come out and take a look at your place or help you with anything that you got going on as far as within the paranormal in your home.
I agree.
Especially when there's children involved. That's when we need to act the quickest.
Yes, and you may disagree with my outlook on this, but for me, if I charge someone to do an investigation, right, I'm now being physically paid to do a job. They think they're having experiences. If I come back because it was a quiet night and I say, look, I didn't find anything in your home. There's nothing I can do for you based off of this one investigation. I need to come back and do another one. If you continue the trend, do you continue charging them? Like, that doesn't make sense to me because you're getting paid to do a job. I just don't like the concept.
Exactly. No, you should be paid to do it. It's one thing if they want to donate something afterwards for your time. By all means, I don't always accept it, but when they're persistent, just to make them feel better, then I would.
Yeah,
just like there's, a lot of times with card readings, I don't charge my friends and family. So that's another thing. If you catch me out at Paragon, I've known you for a couple of years, and hey man, I got some issues. I'll start turning cards and read for you. And when you go to pay me, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
because you're taking care of your community, your friends, your family, those that need the help.
So I was actually going to save this question to the end of the podcast if we had time, but I'll go ahead and throw it out now because you do have mediumistic abilities.
Yep.
So every medium out there receives messages from spirit in a different manner.
Correct.
How do you receive yours? Like where do they come? Like, not where do they come from? Because that's a loaded question all on its own. But,
right. Yeah.
How do you personally think that you are receiving these messages?
Most time I'm getting thoughts imprinted in my head. Prime example, like I use all the time. I could be like talking to you, Nate, and be like, hey, I see a gray-haired fellow about 6 foot right behind you, scruffy, wearing blue jeans and a flannel shirt. I will not physically, nor will I see that in my third eye.
You just perfectly described my grandfather?
Really? There you go. So, but my brain is what told me that description. Told me I had seen that. So therefore, I portrayed out as if I did, even though I did not have that actual vision. And like you just said, I've had that happen more times than not. Where someone asks me something, well, yeah, I see this or see that. And they're like, well, that's grandma or that's grandpa. It's out of the blue.
The only other person I've ever had perfectly describe my grandfather was Morgan, but she saw him in a different color shirt. My grandfather would wear flannel button downs with a sleeveless when he did yard work.
Okay. Pocket shirt. Did he smoke?
Oh yeah.
That's why he wore the sleeveless flannel. So you had somewhere to put your cigarettes and your lighter in while you were working at easy access to.
That man was old school. Camel non-filters.
My old man was the same way.
Man, that's a rough cigarette. If you don't smoke cigarettes and you ever hit a Camel non-filter, you don't know. That's rough.
A kick in the lungs. That was one of the first cigarettes I ever had.
So that was actually kind of weird how that whole thing transitioned there from a simple question.
Yeah. That's what I love about letting Spirit take the reins of the shows that we're on, because you'll get things that you're not going to expect.
I didn't expect that.
Nor did I.
So I know that you proudly you come from Native American heritage.
That's correct.
What tribe are you a part of? What tribe do you belong to?
I'm actually a member of the Stockbridge Munsee tribe, Band of Mohicans. Also, I'm a first-line descendant of Oneida and Blackfoot. So I got a little bit of everything mixed up in.
Interesting. Because I have some Blackfoot and Apache.
Okay. So
I'm not enough to show the skin tone. I don't have that nice fair skin that you do.
Yeah,
Man,
mine's
my hat off and I look at myself.
Put the hat back on, man. You blinded
yeah,
us.
you need the hat.
I look like a jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah, keep the hat on, brother.
Absolutely.
We need to get you out of the sun a little more and tan that up.
There we go.
All right, you had to turn the dim lights down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I just did. So let me.
I have to dim mine, otherwise I look like I glow when I'm on these things. So
true.
So, how do you feel that with the Native American heritage and the traditions that you've been taught, right? Yep. It brings a unique perspective to your style of paranormal investigating.
Yep.
How do you feel that having these traditions and having these heritages make your style of investigating different from what everyone else does?
Well, when I come in, I try to honor all the spirits that are there on the land and in the home. As everyone's heard me say before, I lay tobacco down. I tell them there to honor them, to speak with them, to tell them stories, to give them a voice. I like to be a voice for the voiceless. By doing that, you're actually giving them something to say, hey, here, I'm giving this to you out of honor, out of respect. And one of the biggest things the Creator gave us to use for spiritual things like that is tobacco. Some tribes use corn pollen. They're both hand in hand. So with that being said, also, as natives, we believe in the afterlife and the paranormal and the supernatural. It's not in question. It's there. There's things that are there that sometimes you don't talk about, some things you do. So that's where it gives me kind of like that upper hand. Yeah, I come in as a skeptic most cases, but when I do actually pick up on something, I know it's legit, that there's something really happening or something there.
Right. And I love that outlook. So whenever you go into the process of doing an investigation, me personally, I like to ground and center if I can before every investigation and afterwards. Is there a protective aspect that you personally do before you go into these locations so you can protect yourself spiritually?
I always have my quote unquote armor on when I'm in these locations, but that's just natural to me. It's like my guides put it on me without me even thinking. But most cases, I faffle. I like to F around and find out.
that doesn't always work well, Rez.
Hey, my entire life, the darkness has always ran for me in any location I've been in. Now, we were somewhere together once, and you notice everything was happening in the opposite room from where I was. Anything that was chaotic, or it wouldn't come to this side of the room where I was. So, and that's what I've experienced my entire life, walking through buildings. Even when I went to go try to buy houses.
Just mentioned it.
Yeah, it stayed as far as it could away from me.
I mean, so was that your protective armor that you put on? Is that what you believe it is?
No, I think it's more the abilities and the gifts that I have. Through everything I've done, I've learned how to cross things over. I have my own way of spiritual warfare. So if something comes up, and does rear its teeth at me, again, baffle, baby. Let's take it to it.
See,
You know?
I like your aspect on that, because me, if a spirit's running from me, there's a damn good chance I forgot to put on deodorant, and I am in a very fucking hot building, and I'm smelling like hot ass.
Right? Sweaty sacks, and it don't smell good.
Gwen, I know you're saying, "Oh Lord," but look, man, we gotta have fun on these shows. That's what makes it
Right.
interesting.
Gwen, you traveled with me for a whole summer. You should know about sweaty fat people. Okay, I ain't tiny.
It was not a problem. I promise. We had a great time.
You took me from the great cold north to the steaming hot south. Okay, yep. I was sweating like a whore in church every day.
You know what that brings up? Instant swamp ass.
Right.
Swamp ass. Yes.
Instant swamp ass and Niagara balls. Y'all can take that however you want, but that's what it brings up.
Exactly.
So, Rez, with your heritage and your traditions, there is something that I personally practice, and I could be doing it wrong. I will go over here for a moment, and I'll grab this, and I'll be right back.
All right. He's running away. Quick.
I was looking for Malthy, actually.
Malthy's right here.
He's just hiding.
He's hiding.
He's
kicking
hiding
out behind the books.
He don't want swamp ass.
Mm-hmm.
Smudging.
Yep. Sage and smudging.
So, I feel, and you could disagree with me, that a lot of the people who are involved in the paranormal today, they claim they know how to properly do this sacred ritual, but they do it completely incorrectly.
There's a lot of them that do, yes.
So you would agree with that statement?
Yep.
So could you walk us through the proper way, which I'm not going to say that anyone, based off of what Rez is about to say, should go out and attempt a smudging, because that could just make things worse if you do not do it properly. Okay?
Yep.
So could you tell us the proper way to actually do this?
All right. Well, first thing, when it comes to smudging, you have to truly, wholly believe, without a question of a doubt in your heart, that this is actual medicine that's given to us by the Creator for such things. If you do not believe in it, it's not going to work. It's like the turd in the punch bowl. It's going to ruin everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when I smudge, sometimes I'll use a shell. I do have a holder sometimes, or I'll just actually hold it myself. And I go through the entire house. But as I go, I usually go from bottom to top or top to bottom. And wherever I leave off at the end, there's always a door or a window open. That's where some people screw up right there. They don't leave that door or window open. Windows. You can open all of them. That might work, because the whole point of leaving that window open is so them spirits that are there can escape. They have a way to leave. If you have all your windows and doors closed, you're just trapping them in and pissing them off. That's all you're going to do. Especially just like if you go and do it and you don't have the proper belief system, it's not going to work, and all you can do is piss them off.
Correct.
And there's different reasons to use sage and other sacred things, like sweetgrass. You want to call in your family or your ancestors, your elders, you're going to burn that sweetgrass. Yeah, it's going to bring it in. It's still going to cleanse the area, but it's bringing in the good with it.
I need to get some sweetgrass. I don't have any.
I'm actually only got 2 braids left. I've been trying to find a good supplier so I can start bringing it to shows. Another thing is I like to use a cedar. Now, yes. It depends on the level of activity and what's going on, is whether I'll use cedar, sage, or I'll combine the two. Now, combining them is something that I've personally done. It wasn't like I was taught that. It was just something one day I said, hey, mix the two and run through. So, and that's usually when it's the dark, the heavy things, the questionable.
Right. The more possibly malevolent things.
Correct. But it literally boils down to belief. There's a lot of people that believe that if you're native, only you should be using it. Well, the problem with that is there's a lot of people that follow the beliefs of the Native Americans, because back in ancient times, their people had similar beliefs, very similar, but it's been basically brainwashed out of them to the point where they're at nowadays. So that's why a lot of people gravitate to us, because we still have them beliefs still. We still have that structure within us that we've managed to hold on for all these years.
So I know you said that you use cedar. What is your opinion on Palo Santo wood? I know it doesn't necessarily fall into that realm of Native American heritage, but
I've never used it. I've never tried it.
Really?
I can't.
You know, I have a piece
Not
that's
either?
in one of my bags. Someone gave me a small little piece that I carry in my bag with my cards. I've never tried it, never used it.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so and this could be a common misconception. Another thing I wanted to ask about smudging, right? Is it your belief that smudging works pretty well on benevolent entities that would like to be removed, but the spirits that don't want to leave, that may have a more negative intention, they're more difficult to remove, and so smudging may be a temporary fix for a time frame, and then smudging will have to continue?
I normally say you got to keep up smudging no matter what, because everywhere we go, you can catch a hitchhiker. You know,
Yes.
whether you go to the store or whether you go to work, you run into chances. Heck, go away on vacation, stay at a hotel. What hotels on this planet are not haunted because of all the things that go on behind the scenes with them?
Very few.
That the public don't know.
Exactly.
Right? So anywhere you can go, there is spirit. And there could be one that wants to follow you home because they find you interested, or you remind them of something, or you're a beacon of light and they're attracted to it. So always keep up smudging. You know, get on a regular habit. There's another way that I do for myself here at the house is if I smudge and later on comes down the road and I feel like something's trying to come in, I take that white light from the inside of me. I start watching it glow in my heart and start pulsating to the point where it consumes me, and eventually it consumes outward into the room and the rest of the house. And then I have like a picture of me outside watching this building as it keeps getting lighter and lighter and lighter. All of a sudden you see everything kind of disperse out of the house. You know, and that was another way that I've learned to cleanse my own home. So you don't always have to use the sage. There's other ways to do it.
There is. And you know what? And that's a very good point. And also exactly what you described is basically how I ground and center. Is
Yep.
I see a white light, I feel it engulf me, and I watch all the black flecks in my mind flake off.
Yep.
That's the impurities that I don't need when I go into an investigation.
Exactly. You know, another thing, let's see here. I just had something on the tip of my tongue now. I lost it.
That happens. So I got one more question. I got one more question about saging, and then kind of want to shift gears. So when you go and you watch all of these movies and stuff, and they depict Native American saging, they typically use an eagle feather to waft the smoke into the areas, so that way it encompasses the whole room. Is using said feather necessary? Because I personally do own a bald eagle feather when I sage. That's what I use.
Keep that quiet.
It was gifted to me by someone from the Navajo tribe.
Keep it quiet, though.
Well, I know
the wrong people find out and they want to be sticklers.
Yeah, but I was told that if it was a gift from a Native American tribe, it was perfectly legal to own.
Have documentation with it.
I do.
All right, then it should be good.
Yeah, so that's what I use when I sage, because I've heard that's the traditional way to do it, is some specific feather.
With ceremony, yes, it doesn't have to be, but yes, a lot of times with ceremony or anything strong, I will grab my eagle feather and smudge. It doesn't have to be a feather. You can use your hand and kind of just wisp it around. You know, some people say don't blow on your sage, you know, because you're putting your energy into it. I personally, you know, don't have an issue because I figure if I'm blowing into it, it's going to purify whatever's coming out of me anyways.
Agreed.
And it's going to take and cloud up the room. Another thing you got to remember, when you do the saging, you have to go around every window, every door frame, every corner of every room has to be hit.
Including closets.
Yes, including closets. Everywhere. Every inch has to be done. And if you don't, you're leaving one little spot that could cling to, and later on cause havoc. That's
Yeah,
another reason why I say multiple times.
I agree, and I have been in a situation where I have done a saging for somebody before, and they did not inform me that they had a crawl space.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That crawl space needs to be done as well, because now
Yes.
you're leaving an open area for whatever that entity or energy is to go and hide until the effects wear off.
Exactly. You know, and also as far as how long it lasts, is a lot of times it's the belief of the practitioner and the belief of the people in the home. You know,
Yeah.
you as a practitioner, a lot of your medicines within you go within doing them cleansings and clearings. So the more you believe in yourself and you believe in them traditions, the stronger they are.
Agreed. So, shifting gears, there was something that I found very interesting, more of a trend that I've noticed. And I don't know how exactly to pronounce this tribe, so maybe you can tell me based off the spelling. OJIBWA.
Ojibwe or
Ojibwe.
Ojibwa.
Okay, so I was right.
Yep.
I just didn't want to mispronounce it and be like, I'm an idiot. So, moving on to this subject, the Ojibwe, they have the legend of the Memegwese. The Cree have the Menengashi. Here up in our area, we have the Wampanoag, and they have the Pukwudgie. Is there anything in your traditions that have these similar childlike, mischievous, wood-dwelling spiritual entities?
We have the little people.
Okay.
So does the Cherokees. They know about them. They can be mischievous. They can be very dangerous. You know, I had a friend of mine that came over to visit last week, and she doesn't necessarily believe much into the paranormal. She's curious about it, but doesn't really believe much. Well, she come over to visit for about an hour, hung out with me and brother. When she left, she had a experience with one of these little people.
Interesting.
She had bought some earrings from me. They're bone earrings that were painted into feathers. She lost one here. You know, she was helping me haul some stuff up from the basement. Lost one somewhere. It was either in the yard or in the house. Okay. She took the other one out, put it in her purse so she wouldn't lose it. She gets about a mile down the road and makes her turn, heads out towards where she lives, because she lives off the reservation next town over. And she sees this little person. She couldn't tell if it was a kid or a short midget or what, but walking down the road in the middle of the night. Well, this woman is pure heart, granny, the whole works, awesome person. So she stops. Hey, you need a ride. All they ask for tobacco. So she goes here, hands them a cigarette, and looks back down and closes the cigarette. Gone. Completely gone. She gets out, where the hell they go? She walks around her vehicle, all she sees is a cigarette butt.
And yes, Ashley, everyone is on tonight, or Alicia, sorry, everyone is on tonight because, you know, we put on a great show.
Right?
But continue the cigarette.
So she looks around, finds a cigarette butt, and that's it. Gets home, looks in the mirror, both her earrings are in her ears.
I bet she tripped out, didn't she?
Yeah,
I got a phone call and a picture immediately. What the hell? And I'm like, hold on.
Is this who I'm thinking it is?
No, you haven't met her. It's an old co-worker of mine.
Yeah,
I thought it was, the
Ojibwe. If you wouldn't mind pinning Morgan's comment again real quick, because she's very right. That's what a lot of people in our area sees as Pukwudgies as. They feel more up to no good than mischievous.
Yep.
But here's the thing, and I will counteract this comment with a statement of they are only acting up to no good if you invade their space and disrespect them.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say that. You know, they'll help you in your time of need if you're good with them and you leave them alone.
Yes.
I've known people on my reservation here as children get lost in the woods, and the little people actually took care of them until the parents could come out and find them.
Good.
They're like, well, what happened? What happened? Where were you? Oh, I was playing with my friends, the little people. And after as they get older, they don't have much memories of these. The memories start to fade, but they knew that something had happened. So, and don't go out looking for them, because you could end up being on the other side. We'll just put it that
In a
way.
bad situation.
Mhm.
A very bad situation you're not going to wake up from.
I mean,
You
because
know?
there's multiple different aspects. You know, I brought up the Mimigwese, the Menengeshe, the Pukwudgie here in this area. But if you travel down to South America, you have the Tocoloche. If you go over to Mexico, you have the Duende. If you go to any country, there are these rumors of these little humanoid creatures.
Yep.
There's no way possible that all of this folklore started from a time when we had no physical communication with other countries, right? So there has to be something more to it. But my question for you would be is, do you think these are more maybe elemental spirits, or are they some kind of weird creature that we just don't understand?
I think they're more supernatural than anything. You know, they're been there before time. They're not elementals, but they belong to the land, and they are in the supernatural class of things. You can't consider them a cryptid. You can't consider them paranormal. They have their own basically being, their own self-worth in the classifications.
I like that. I like that because when I look up, you know, going through the history, the Mimigwese, it's said to be a more water-dwelling spirit.
Yep.
And then you have the Pukwudgie, which is said to be a wood-dwelling spirit. It's almost like every description that I find of these very similar creatures, if you will, I'm just going to call them entities. They all seem to have the interconnection of they're attached to some type of earthly energy.
Yep.
Did you see Morgan's
Definitely.
comment?
Morgan, no, the Fae are completely separate from them.
Thank you.
So would you mind elaborating?
Well, your Fae and your fairies and all that, you know, little bitty things where, you know, they have their own traditions, their own rules, you know, their own things that attract them. They love candy. I can tell you that much. If you see a fairy circle or a Fae circle, don't mess with it. Leave it alone. I have literally outside my bedroom window, about 6 feet out my window, I have a ring of trees that grew up out of nowhere on their own. Literally, it's a full ring. I will not touch that. I will not go in it. When I do my yard work, I will mow around it. But them 5 or 6 birch trees that are literally in this big of a circle, you know, put them all around me, I consider that a fairy. You know.
Interesting. So you do personally believe that fairies are a thing?
Yes. I leave them alone. I don't mess with them. I've been in a couple of sets of woods where you left an offering to pass through. You know.
Yes, Morgan, that is bad. Do not jump in the circles.
Yes.
No.
Just like you want to boop the nose of all the haunted objects you see. You don't do that.
She does.
I would.
I won't let her.
She does if she can get away with
Fafo. Just remember that.
Yeah, but I don't let her because you know what? That Fafo that you're talking about, half of those objects come back to my room. They stay here.
Oh, no. You send them home with her then.
No, they stay here. Hence the reason I said you're not doing it.
If she's going to be booping the nose, she needs to take ownership of them. Take ownership of what the results are.
Yep. Don't leave it here with me because the other night I felt something crawl into bed with me. I told Morgan about this.
I'm sorry. I astral projected. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, Greg, man, if you need a snuggle session, man, it's whatever, dude. Just let me know it's you. Just tap me on the shoulder twice. I'm good with it.
When you hear in your ear, just don't turn around. It's me, okay?
Oh, Lord.
That's fair. That's fair. So, on top of paranormal investigating, you enjoy cryptid hunting.
I do.
So, can I ask you, have you ever made a trip to investigate a cryptid and you've actually found some kind of evidence, not necessarily concrete, but evidence that would make you believe that you were on the right track and that a cryptid is in that area?
I've had experiences. Back when I was part of the old team, we did a lot of the research up at the Hayden Adventure, which the place had been known for being on Expedition Bigfoot or Finding Bigfoot or one of them shows. And we were able to do a lot of research out there because the founder of the team and the owner of the property became really good friends.
Okay.
So we were out there one night camping, and it was middle of the night. Me and him go for hikes in the dark. I love being in the woods in the middle of the night, no lights, the whole works. And we're coming down on one of these trails, and it's heavy brush line, and we hear a doof really loud. You know, it was enough of a vibration that you felt it. And then we're like, what the hell? You know, get the thermal out, and we're looking, nothing. Within a few minutes, you hear another doof, probably another 30, 40 feet. On the other side of where we heard the first one. Again, we're hitting it with thermals, we're hitting it with cameras, flashlights, nothing out there. And if it would have been a deer coming through, you would have heard it go through the entire area.
Yeah.
Not just two big thumps. And you didn't hear no leaves or anything else. It was just some big thumps. And we went in to where we heard it and made a huge loop around this whole area, trying to find something. Couldn't find nothing that explained what the heck this was. That's the one of the times where it made me go, okay, you know, I'm interested. I'd like to see where this is going. It made me think a little more about my big hairy brother, who I refer to as Bigfoot. You know,
fair. And that also, you know, Bigfoot falls back into Native American heritage as well, because they used to call it Sasquatch. There was multiple different names depending on the region of Native American.
Depends on the tribe. Yep. Yeah, Sasquatch started up in Canada. That's where that whole name came from. You have up in Alaska, Nanticoke. You have Sea Tonga out in the Omaha people, I believe it is.
I've never heard of that.
Yep. The Omaha tribe, they call them Sea Tonga. There's actually, who was it?
Perks.
There's actually a movie that was done called Sea Tonga that talks that they take some people out into the woods on the Indian reservation looking for our hairy brother. So, and then let's see, Ojibwe is, I believe, Sabe. So,
interesting.
Yep. And I got a theory with that. And
intrigued.
my theory is, if you take someone of Native American descent, take them in the original homelands area. So, like for where I'm at now, Menominee this is their original lands. The Stockbridge people and the Mohicans, we were from out east, the Hudson Valley area. We take someone that can speak the original language fluently, and you go out in the woods and you start calling out to Bigfoot or Sasquatch, or what you want to call them, and you start trying to communicate that way, you'll get a response back. And
agree. Wait, you repin that real quick. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do we got?
Yes, we are talking about indigenous things. That's what I thought.
Yes, we are.
Okay, carry on. Sorry about that, brother.
You know, and I've done some experiences. I don't speak any of the fluid languages yet. I've gone out and I've played a lot of drum music out in the woods, and I've had things happen. You know, just weird things, weird experiences. I've yet to have the Bigfoot experience, but we did try that up at the Hayden adventure to see. Because it was my first time up there. I'm like, well, he's in our Legends and Lores. I've heard of him coming into people having sweat lodges and staying on the outside. I've heard stories about how they used to come in back in the day, and our Braves in their youth used to interact. How they'd come sit around our fires and listen to us drum. That was their peace and fun time for them. Their interactions. And a lot say that. You know, a lot say that they miss hearing our drumming and our singing. You know, it puts them at ease. So every chance I can, when I go into an area to do any squatching, I try to play some of that drum music and see what happens. Sometimes it's paranormal stuff that'll happen. Sometimes you kind of seem like you get that feeling of something's there watching you. And it could be him.
No, that's a great aspect. And I never would have looked at it from that aspect until you just pointed it out. Because they've been here for so long, maybe that music is calming to them.
Yeah.
And they can kind of relate to it in a way. And they're this is comforting.
Yeah, the legends say that they used to walk hand in hand with us. You know, they were, our big furry brothers and sisters from the woods. And what happened is I believe one of the times that everyone was interacting, they ended up hurting one of the Braves, which started a fight, which ended up leading to a war. And eventually it was, okay, I stay over here, you stay over here. We acknowledge each other, we just leave each other alone.
Oh,
And that's where we're kind of split.
So it was kind of like a disagreement based off an unintentional happening.
Yep. That's what it's been explained to me.
I've never heard that theory before.
Mm-hmm.
So Cave Perks. I'm sorry, Cave Perks. I cannot pronounce your first name. I'm not even going to try and butcher it. She says some drums send out a certain frequency that they respond to as well.
Yes, you can tell that as far as the frequencies is go to any powwow, and like me, I live about a quarter mile from our powwow grounds. Every August, you can slightly hear the drums at night. Well, I walk to my powwow grounds every year for powwow. As soon as I hit the park and them drums start getting louder, I literally could feel the energy in me start to flow and change to the point where when I get up to the actual powwow, I'm in la la. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm at peace. So the frequencies there is something there to it.
Yeah, we should. I agree with that, Morgan. That was a comment between her and But anyway, so let me ask you. I feel so many people that are involved in the paranormal have a very firm misunderstanding, and they do not see the mistake that they're making. They confuse a Wendigo with a skinwalker.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge difference between the two.
Gigantic.
And so many people will see a video or whatever you see and they say, oh, that's a Wendigo when it's actually a skinwalker, or oh, that's a skinwalker when it's a Wendigo. And I've seen so many comments of people saying they're the same thing.
No, they're not.
They are so not the same thing.
Exactly. So, and a Wendigo is not a cryptid either.
It's not. It's a spirit.
Correct.
So could you please elaborate on the differences?
All right. Skinwalker comes from the Southwest. That's where they're from. It is a medicine man who has basically gone dark. It's no different than a black witch. That skinwalker or medicine man, however you want to start before the change, has to go certain mountaintops and get certain pieces of soils or rocks from each one. At the end of the ceremony, he has to kill something that he loves to be able to make the changes, to have the power of being a skinwalker. It is an actual person gone bad. All right. I can't say it any more plain. And they're from the Southwest. They're not all over the place.
No, they're not.
We do have shapeshifters all over the place. And that's where a lot of people I think are screwing up, thinking, oh, just because it changes shapes, it's a skinwalker. No, that's not the case. Shapeshifting is a totally different thing.
It is.
Your Wendigo, basically, it starts from greed. All right. It's a lesson on greed because that Wendigo starts eating whatever it can and it never gets full. It never gets satisfied. Then what happens is eventually it'll start gnawing on its own fingertips, its own lips.
That would be a question for Rez, not me.
Well, we'll get there. And so it keeps feeding and feeding and feeding. Eventually it turns cannibalistic, and it turns evil. There's a possession in that point there, I believe. Where
I would agree with
that spirit that's attached to them is what's making them always hungry, because what that spirit wants, it can't get from our world.
It can't get it from physical nourishment.
Yep, exactly. And it's feeding off the fear, the fact that everything that it's going through, the turmoil that the person is going through. So that's that. That's from the up northeast, up in your area, my original homelands. That's where you get the Wendigo. Now, I do not understand where the old horns and the deer skull look came in, because the way I was always described, it looks basically kind of like someone who almost looks like a zombie.
Yes.
Gray, emaciated. So that's that.
Love you too, Candace. But yeah, no, I don't understand where the horns came into, like the deer skull, the horn mythology. I don't know where that
Yeah.
came in either.
I'm thinking Hollywood.
It just kind of seemed to appear and it stuck.
Yep.
So Gwen, there was a comment that I said there was going to be a question for Rez. It was not a me question.
I don't think it was
That
it
was
wasn't a question. Yeah, it was just. Is that one it? That's it.
That was it.
Yes. Now when it comes to native hauntings,
question, sorry, but still.
Yep. When it comes to native hauntings, everyone that I've come across, 9 times out of 10, it's they want to be remembered. They want something fixed that's been done wrong to the land. You know, they want that acknowledgement. They want them things taken care of. The more you ignore them, the more you disrespect the land, you disrespect their history and their lineage. That's where they get angry. 9 times out of 10, the Native American spirits are peaceful. We were peaceful people to start with. You only get angry when you're getting, disrespected and not being properly taken care of. Now, there are other hauntings that might happen for a different reason, but usually it's just they want that acknowledgement. The land might be blood soaked. They want someone to help cleanse the land. They want the honor of, being known that they're still there. So what I suggest to a lot of people is, if you're coming across something like this and you think it's Native American, reach out to someone, a tribal member somewhere that has the knowledge. B, if you want to do something yourself, go out there and honor them. Give them some tobacco. Talk to them. They are people just like you and I. We keep our personalities when we cross over. Another thing you can do is when you're having a family meal, whether it's Christmas, for Thanksgiving, whatever, put a little bit of everything you got on a paper plate or something and put it out in the yard as a spirit plate, an offering to them. And let the little critters and everything else in the area feed on that plate, because the spirit's going to take what they need and they're going to leave the rest for Mother Nature.
Yes.
All right? Because we lived hand in hand. And a lot of times you'll find out things will change.
No, and that's a very good point. It's like going back to the Tokoloche down in South America, right?
Yeah.
If you want the Tokoloche to not come in and steal your newborn child, you leave it offerings of rum, bread, butter, and cheese.
That sounds like a good time.
It does, doesn't it?
Right? I can get down with that.
But that's the offering that you leave outside your doorstep for the first 2 months after you have a newborn. In certain African cultures or certain South American cultures. But it's kind of like the same aspect. You're leaving out the offerings.
Yep.
So this way you can appease the spirits.
Right. And that you have to. We need to learn to coincide with all things within our realm and those that come into our realm and interact with us. Everyone's so quick to say, get out of my house or get it away from me. You can't escape it, guys.
Look, you can't, and I'm sorry.
It's all around us.
Any ghost that lives in my house, there's a good possibility that they have seen me change. They have seen me naked.
Yeah.
If that hasn't scared them off, then they're not leaving.
I was told as a child, spirit eats with you, sleeps with you. No matter what you do,
yes.
Spirit is there. It might be your ancestors. It could be someone different. They're going to see you.
Damn it. You said something else and it made my question disappear. What the fuck was I going to... Oh, so... No. In your time of going out and investigating, cryptids and unknown creatures, I'm sorry, there's no way this cute little fucker known as the Hodag exists, right? I know in your area, the Hodag is very popular.
Yep.
Is there a creature that would be considered a cryptid in your area that you would feel would be more plausible to exist as compared to other cryptids that are in the area?
Well, we know Bigfoot's out there. I'm a firm believer in a dog man. That one I do believe in. I've been down to Bray Road. I haven't experienced anything down there yet, but at least not on Bray Road. I've been to Lee Hample's farm, or Lee Hample's hayfield, and that place is crazy. But it backs right up to Bray Road.
Right.
I've driven down Bray Road and felt off. I can't explain it. It's a unique feeling.
So do you think the Beast of Bray Road is actually a werewolf, or do you think it more of a spiritual transformation, giving off the appearance of a werewolf?
See, that one I'm kind of in the fence. I don't think it's a werewolf. I think it's a dog man. I think werewolves and dog men are completely different.
They are.
But I've wondered if a dog man isn't a shapeshifter and maybe has done enough wrong over the years that it cannot transfer out of the dog man shape.
That's a good point.
It is.
That's one thing I've always kind of struggled with, because when I first started hearing about dog men, my first thought was skinwalker. And I asked someone, well, is there any of these dog man experiences happen around, known sites of other reservations down in the Southwest? And I've never really heard anything.
Not much, no.
So then that kind of led me to, well, what if he is a shapeshifter? Because that we talk about in our legends, in our teachings, in our culture, in certain tribes, that shapeshifting is possible. And it's all within how in tune you are with yourself and with the universe. So
you think the Beast of Bray Road would be more of a dog man than an actual werewolf?
Correct.
I think I could agree with that.
I just, that's just how I feel. And what I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because I do want to start doing some more dogman research. I want to go up to Michigan. There's some woods I've seen up in that area that, oddly enough, I'd stop to check out some waterfalls, and the whole freaking woods is glowing with a whole weird feeling.
Well, I can tell you that some of the locals that believe in the Dogman legend in Michigan, because I've interviewed a few of them for the time that I was the researcher for Chasing Legends. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that just be wary of who you interview, because they're some crazy motherfuckers sometimes.
Oh, yeah. All across the country, you have that. Trust me, we found that out on the road,
Yeah,
but
we had to comment on.
It's like there's a few people I was interviewing over the phone, and I swear to God I was hearing banjos.
Yep. Oh, we heard that in Kentucky. Mushroom Mines, baby.
I'm just saying. I'm like, why in the fuck am I talking to this person? Are they going to find my address? Am I going to die? But
no, they're just going to make you squeal like a pig.
Boy, say it right, squeal like a pig, boy. But
boy, you got a part of mouth.
Lord.
Well, I appreciate that compliment. It's not going to be so pretty in a few months when I'm missing all these fucking teeth. But
Velveteen rubs around everyone. All right.
I will hurt you, Riz. Actually, I'm not going to hurt you. I would just force you to give me a piggyback ride. That's all I want. Piggyback.
Yeah, you're small enough. I can give you a piggyback ride still.
But no, like some of these people that you contact that have had these quote unquote experiences, and you interview them, some of them are absolutely eccentric. I'm not going to call them crazy. They definitely experience something that they may not be able to explain, but they're explaining it in the best way that they can. So I'm going to call them eccentric.
Mm-hmm. Would
that be fair?
Yeah, I definitely consider that fair. That's like talking to some of the people in quote unquote woo camp. It doesn't have to be just cryptids that they're eccentric with. I've met some mediums that were, you walk away and go, you're a few flights short of a going full rocker here, and a few sandwiches sort of a picnic. I've met ghost hunters telling me these certain things too, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're smoking, but you need to share some. So you get that no matter where you're at. It's not just with them, but I do understand where you're coming from.
You were sitting in a rocking chair that has half a seat, one arm, and maybe a quarter of a rocker. Okay.
Yep. My front porch.
I get it. You were
like some sweet tea with it too.
Backwoods Louisiana. Like you walk up and someone's like, "Hey, I'm lost in the swamp. Here's this house," and there's this dude sitting in a chair that's got like half a chair, but he still somehow can make it balance. And he's sitting there like, "How you doing, boy?"
Yep. You want to meet my sister cousin?
My sister cuss.
It's a thing, Nate. It's a real thing, man.
I'm from Alabama. Trust me, I know it's a real thing.
Oh, you got one of them anti-mamas.
Rez, let me ask you, has there ever been, before we get to my last typical 3 questions and we close out the show, during your time of doing this paranormal investigating and your cryptid hunting, has you ever had an experience that what I like to call my I about shit my pants moment?
No, I've yet to have an oh shit moment. I've come
Really?
close. I've come close.
Well, let's hear about the close one.
All right. I was coming from Menominee, Michigan. We were doing a private investigation, presidential, and I got about 2 miles away. And out of nowhere, I don't know why, but I just blurted out, "Get the F out of my truck." First thing. Something told me to freaking say it. So then I get about 15 miles down the road and I lose a chunk of road. When I realize that I'm not going where I'm going, I'm literally on a highway heading back north, the opposite direction where I'm supposed to be going.
So you had a time lapse.
I just completely gone. Chunk of history.
That's interesting.
And it wasn't until the road broke down to 2 lanes, I go, wait a minute, the highway doesn't go to 2 lanes on the way to Green Bay. So I flipped a U-ey, and as I'm coming back down the road, then I'm getting recollection. Oh, I remember passing that and thinking this about this. I have no idea how I ended up missing, should have been a straight shot. Somehow I ended up on a ramp going
That's crazy.
to the right, going north.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the closest to an oh shit moment I've had yet.
I feel like that's fair. I mean, losing time, that would be tantamount to what people would consider with an alien abduction. You lose time.
Well, I've lost time before on the roads, but I've never ended up on a separate highway. I've lost chunks of road because I've done a lot of driving over years in states where I shouldn't have been, like overtired, messed up, whatever the case may be, where I've lost like an hour of road, but I'm where I'm supposed to be, heading in the right direction.
You're not just in a completely different fucking spot.
Exactly. So.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. So, Rez, I end my podcast with the typical 3 questions that I ask all of my guests.
Yep.
Number 1, you have one place that you can go and investigate the paranormal. Cost is not an option. Travel and hotel room, all that's covered. Where are you
First off, I don't need a hotel room for where I'm going. Those that follow me should already know this. I'm going to Alcatraz for a 30-day lockdown.
I don't know if I can convince them to allow a 30-day lockdown, but you know what? We're going to go with it. I like it. So we're going to Alcatraz for a 30-day lockdown.
Yep.
You can bring one person with you. They do not have to be involved in the paranormal. They can be alive or dead. Who are you bringing with you and why?
Okay, well, this is kind of a double-edged sword. Far as who I'd initially want to take with, I'd like to bring my father back from the other side and take him. And the reason for that would be is with him being a minister, and when I was a boy, I remember him going out to a house and me going with him, sitting on the couch, and actually him helping someone with having spirit activity in their house.
Okay.
So that was my first, it wasn't an investigation, but it was my first sights of what would later become investigations.
Fair.
So I'd like him to see how I've come full circle from my beginnings.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to go with that. I don't even need the second one because I love that backstory. We're going to go to Alcatraz for 30 days. You're resurrecting your father. You're bringing your father with you. You only have one piece of equipment that you can travel with. What piece of equipment are you bringing with you and why?
That one's hard. That is really hard. But I'd have to say my most reliable piece of equipment, other than myself, would be my pendulum. So I'd have to take that with.
I love it. I love it. That is an absolutely great answer. If the equipment works for you, then that's the equipment that I would expect you to take.
Yeah, I've never had my pendulum lie to me. You've seen it at Broadhead. How many different answers did it give us and lead us the right way? So
no, it did, and I'm impressed by it. But Rez, thank you so much for being able to reschedule with me, coming on for an hour to talk, dude. Let me tell you, this is a fascinating conversation. I will definitely book you again for another show next year. I'm almost completely booked for the year. So
anytime you need someone or want someone, hit me up. I'm there for you, brother. I had a
Brother,
blast
I
being on
will.
there with you.
And I thank you so much for coming on the show. If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for a few minutes, me and Gwen are going to close out the show.
Yep.
And then we're going to run an ad. I got a question that I want to ask you that I ask everybody who's a new guest on the podcast.
Yep. You know, Gwen's going to have to share that Black Eyed Children story with you afterwards.
I'll have to. Yeah.
Fair.
Things that happen on the road. Anyway. Yeah. We'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute, brother. So that was a great conversation.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that we were able to resurrect this podcast because, I was supposed to have him on 2 weeks ago. Weather got in the way. And I was able to finally give him the proper podcast that I wanted him to have. Not that I didn't love the roundtable that we did. And he kind of, was able to join halfway through once he regained connection. But he needed his own show.
He did. He needed his own. And he's always interesting. So.
And I absolutely love the conversation. I love the aspect of the Native American heritage, which I don't completely understand. So I feel like there was a really big dynamic. But for those of you out there watching this show, I appreciate you tuning in. Please be sure to go and watch the Paramystic Podcast with Christina Bloom, as she had on our very own Letriana Brown today for a conversation. Yes. Also, if you missed out the show before this one, be sure to go back and watch Bridging the Seen and Unseen with Shane McLean, as he had on yours truly. And we discussed black-eyed children and other different aspects of the paranormal. But my show was not the last one of the night. Be sure to tune in tonight for Jeremy Cotter and Twisted Tales, as he has on, I believe it's Bill Perry.
Bill Perry, yes.
He is an actor and stuntman. You may know him from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 5, and I think 6. Don't quote me on that.
A million other things, plus 2 books, and he is a great guest.
And also a million other things. Like, he's an actor and stuntman. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show. Do not miss out on that. But also, you need to go back and rewatch the rest of the Wicked Wednesday block. So, yes. I will see you all next week. Next Wicked Wednesday, as I have on Matt Hawks and Elizabeth Hanover. So it's going to be an amazing show, and I will see you all next Wicked Wednesday, same spooky time, same spooky network. Have a good night.
Good night.